The moment I saw him standing in the doorway of that rundown soup kitchen on a freezing December morning, my heart stopped beating. Time collapsed. The coffee cup I was holding slipped from my fingers and shattered against the linoleum floor, but I didn't hear it. I didn't hear anything except the roaring of blood in my ears and the echo of a name I hadn't spoken aloud in 7 years. Marcus, the man I had loved more than my own life, the man I had destroyed with my ambition and selfishness, the man I thought I would never see again. And here he was, not in some gleaming corporate office or trendy downtown restaurant where our lives used to intersect, but in line for a free meal, wearing clothes that had seen better days, his eyes hollow and distant, looking like a ghost of the person I once knew. If you believe in second chances, in the power of redemption and the resilience of the human heart, please hit that like button, drop a comment below, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to this channel. Because what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about love, loss, and what truly matters in this life. I stood frozen behind the serving counter, my volunteer apron suddenly feeling like a costume, like I was playing at charity while real life was staring me in the face. Marcus hadn't seen me yet. He was looking down, his shoulders hunched against some invisible weight, shuffling forward in the line with the defeated posture of someone who had stopped expecting good things. My colleague Sarah nudged me, asking if I was okay, but I couldn't form words. How do you explain that the man who once promised to spend forever with you is now standing in a food line and it's entirely your fault? 7 years ago, Marcus and I had been the couple everyone envied. We met at NYU, both of us studying business, both of us burning with ambition and dreams of conquering the world. He was brilliant, creative, always coming up with innovative ideas that made professors lean forward in their seats. I was driven, organized, the one who could take a vision and turn it into a viable plan. Together, we were unstoppable. We graduated, moved into a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, and started our lives with nothing but love and determination. Marcus wanted to start a nonprofit, something that would actually help people, that would make a difference in communities that had been forgotten. I wanted to climb the corporate ladder, to prove to my family that I could make something of myself, that I wasn't just another dreamer who would end up disappointed. The tension started small. Missed dinners because I was working late. Canceled weekend plans because an important client needed attention. Marcus would wait up for me, his laptop glowing in the dark, working on grant proposals and business plans for his nonprofit dreams, and I would crawl into bed too exhausted to talk, too consumed by my own trajectory to notice that I was leaving him behind. He never complained, not really. He just kept supporting me, kept believing in me, kept saying that we would figure it out, that love was enough. But I wanted more than love. I wanted success, recognition, the corner office with the view of Manhattan. I wanted to prove to everyone, especially myself, that I was worthy. The breaking point came when I got offered a position at a prestigious consulting firm in San Francisco. It was everything I had worked for, a 6-figure salary, incredible opportunities, a chance to work with Fortune 500 companies. Marcus had just gotten his first major grant approval for his nonprofit in New York, a community center that would provide job training and resources to formerly incarcerated individuals. He was finally seeing his dream take shape. I told him we could make long-distance work. He asked me to stay, to choose us, to choose the life we had built together. I remember the look in his eyes that night, the way he held my hands and said that he couldn't lose me, that we were supposed to do this together. And I remember the words that came out of my mouth, cold and certain, telling him that if he really loved me, he would understand that this was my chance, that he was being selfish for asking me to give it up. I left for San Francisco 3 weeks later. Marcus didn't fight anymore. He helped me pack, drove me to the airport, kissed me goodbye with tears streaming down his face. I told myself I was doing the right thing, that we would survive this, that career success and love could coexist. But they couldn't, not the way I was living. The long-distance calls became shorter, less frequent. I was always in meetings, always traveling for clients, always too busy. Marcus tried, he really did, sending me pictures of the community center, telling me about the lives he was changing, asking me when I would visit. I never found the time. And then one day, 8 months after I left, he stopped calling. I told myself I was relieved, that it was easier this way, that I could focus on my career without the guilt. I threw myself deeper into work, climbing higher, earning more, achieving everything I said I wanted. And I was absolutely miserable. It took me 4 years to realize that success without meaning is just an expensive prison. I had the apartment, the car, the title, the respect of colleagues who didn't actually know me. But I would lie awake at night thinking about Marcus, wondering what happened to his nonprofit, whether he still thought about me, whether he had found someone who appreciated him the way I never did. I tried to find him online, but his social media had gone silent. The nonprofit's website was no longer active. It was like he had vanished from the world, and I had no right to look for him because I was the one who had pushed him away. 2 years ago, I quit my job. My therapist said I was having an existential crisis. My mother said I was throwing away everything I had worked for, but I knew I was finally waking up from a nightmare of my own creation. I moved back to New York, not to the trendy neighborhoods where Marcus and I used to dream, but to a modest apartment in Queens. I started volunteering, first at a literacy program, then at a youth center, and finally at St. Anthony's Soup Kitchen in the Bronx. I was searching for something, trying to fill the void that no amount of money or prestige had ever touched. I was searching for the version of myself that Marcus had loved, the woman who once believed that making a difference mattered more than making a fortune. And then there he was, standing 10 feet away from me, waiting for a meal. When Marcus finally reached the serving counter, our eyes met. I watched recognition flood his face, followed by a cascade of emotions too complex to name. Shock, pain, confusion, something that might have been anger or might have been grief. He opened his mouth, closed it, then simply held out his tray with shaking hands. I served him the mashed potatoes and green beans, my own hands trembling so badly that I nearly dropped the serving spoon. Neither of us spoke. What could we say? What words could possibly bridge 7 years in a canyon of regret? I couldn't let him disappear again. When my shift ended, I found him sitting alone at a corner table, staring at his half-eaten meal. I approached slowly, like you would approach a wounded animal, and asked if I could sit down. He nodded, not looking at me. And then, in a voice barely above a whisper, I asked him what happened. The story that poured out broke whatever was left of my heart. After I left, Marcus had poured everything into his nonprofit. It was thriving, helping dozens of people every month, changing lives. But then a major donor pulled out unexpectedly, leaving the organization financially unstable. Marcus took out personal loans to keep it running, convinced he could find new funding. He couldn't. The nonprofit collapsed. The loans defaulted. He lost his apartment, his credit, his reputation. The man who had spent his life trying to help others ended up needing help himself. He had been homeless for 18 months, cycling through shelters and food programs, working odd jobs when he could get them, battling depression that made some days feel impossible to survive. I sat there listening, tears streaming down my face, knowing that while I was closing business deals in San Francisco boardrooms, the best man I had ever known was losing everything because he dared to care about people more than profit. And I hadn't been there. I had chosen ambition over love, and this was the cost. Not just to me, but to him, to us, to everything we could have been. I want to pause here and ask you something. If this story is touching your heart, if you've ever made a choice you regretted, if you've ever wondered about the roads not taken, please hit that like button. Leave a comment telling me about your own second chances. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that it's never too late to make things right. These stories matter. Your engagement helps spread this message, and every single comment and share means the world to me. I made a decision in that moment that has defined every day since. I asked Marcus if he would let me help him, not out of pity, not out of guilt, though both were certainly present, but because I finally understood what he had known all along, that the only thing that matters in this life is showing up for the people we love, is using whatever resources we have to make someone else's burden a little lighter. He was skeptical, guarded, and he had every right to be. But he was also exhausted from fighting alone, and maybe, just maybe, he could see that I had changed, that I wasn't the woman who had walked away anymore. I helped Marcus find transitional housing through a program I had learned about through my volunteer work. I connected him with a job placement service. I sat with him through the panic attacks and the moments when he wanted to give up. And slowly, carefully, we rebuilt something. Not the relationship we had before, that was gone, burned up in the fire of my ambition and his heartbreak. But something new, something harder won and more honest. We talked about everything, the pain I caused, the resentment he carried, the dreams we both lost. We went to therapy separately and together. We learned how to forgive, him to forgive me, and me to forgive myself. Marcus got a job as a program coordinator at a community organization, using his experience to help others navigate the systems that had nearly destroyed him. I continued volunteering and started a small consulting practice that helps nonprofits with strategic planning, finally using my business skills for something that actually matters. We take things slowly. Some days are hard, filled with echoes of old pain. But other days are filled with a kind of joy I never knew in those San Francisco years. The joy of building something real with someone who sees you completely and chooses you anyway. Before I finish this story, I need you to do something for me. In the comments below, type the word second chances if you believe that people can change, that love can survive even the deepest wounds, that finding each other again is always possible. Just those two words. I want to see how many of you believe in the power of redemption. I lost Marcus once because I didn't understand that love isn't something you fit around your life, it's what you build your life around. I found him again in the most unexpected place, not in the life I had planned, but in the life I was meant to live. And while I can never give him back those 7 years, I can give him every day moving forward. Not the perfect version of me, but the real one. The one who finally knows that coming home isn't about a place, it's about choosing the person who makes you want to be better, and then doing the work to actually become that person. Sometimes we have to lose everything to find what truly matters, and sometimes, if we're incredibly lucky, we get a chance to make it right.